भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। In this 9th month of 2020, we are entering the 9th session of Mundaka Upanishad on the September 11, and in the very first khanda of the first Mundaka, we have already received a plenty in a sense. However, it's our limitations that make the rishis again expand these teachings in such a way that the so-called Madhyama Adhikaris, the middle level students, can endeavor and catch up with what they would have missed out. For Uttama Adhikaris, students of tremendous Vairagya, born of great Viveka, and what is more, they have great intelligence. Uha poha vichakshana they are. They are able to do uha, that is, guess out what is possible, and they are also able to do apoha, dismiss what is illogical. Therefore, it is a combination of Viveka Vairagya on one hand and certain Buddhi Shakti on the other that make someone truly fit for this Jnana Marga. Otherwise, they have to come a long way with yoga or bhakti and so on. However, at the end, there is the statement which cannot be compromised with Jnanad eva tu kaivalyam. No matter what path you take, at the end, kaivalyam, liberation, is through Jnana. What is that Jnana? It is the clear seeing, samyak darshana, that one is Satchit and this entire universe, whatever there is all Satchit only. It is by seeing, nothing is created. It is whatever there is already. One doesn't see so far, and then when one sees, one is liberated. We say as though liberation is an event, but then in advanced classes we clarify it is not an event, it is something mind-blowing. One laughs at oneself. One says, I was never bound. If I was bound, then I get liberated. That would be an event on the axis of time. This is transcending time. This is such seeing where time and space take a back seat, if not pushed out of the car. So here we are, after seeing that very, very powerful mantra, namely 6. Yattadadreshyam agrahyam agotram avarnam and so on, at the end of which there was this expression भूतयोनिं परिपश्यन्ति धीराः. The truly wise students see paripashyanti. They see clearly from all angles of view. They are free from all doubt. And along with other pointers, the last pointer given is Bhuta Yoni, the source of all life forms. All life forms, we human beings too, are after all forms of life. And we have all come from this Brahma only, called here Akshara. We may call it Akshara, some other place it is Bhuma, and the most common name is Brahma, Brahma or Brahman. Brahma is the Chaturmukha Brahma, that is Pullinga in grammar, whereas Brahma or Brahman is Napunsakalinga, that is neuter gender. All right, the words that came in the sixth mantra together point to something, and if that something is seen, then in that seeing there is Paravidya. Unless there is that seeing, everything else is Aparavidya. Therefore, all the four Vedas, including the Upanishads, as regards the Shabda Rashi, were put in Aparavidya. What to talk of the numerous subjects taught in modern universities? All of them are Aparavidya. Nowadays, the confusion in our society is such that even in spiritual circles, if somebody comes on the stage and wants to speak on Upanishads, let us say, and that person happens to be very qualified in one of the university subjects, engineering or medicine or history or economics or social science and so on. That person, lady or man, has a coveted position in some distinguished or much admired university, then people are in awe. You know, this person speaking on Ishavasya today, he is a postdoctoral person in Cambridge, etc. Really, at the most, his being in Oxford or Cambridge, Harvard or MIT is a sign of a certain IQ and certain skills and certain gifts. God bless him. But they do not have much bearing on Paravidya, on Adhyatma Vidya. Sometimes some people who are very qualified in these subjects of modern world could be nowhere near spiritual eminence. And somebody else, not having any of those degrees, could have spiritual excellence. So we don't want to undermine subjects of the world, but it is not proper to connect the excellence of them, of those people in university subjects. They cannot be connected one to one with spiritual excellence. They could make big blunders too in interpreting or understanding the Adhyatma Vidya. All right, we already took a look at the seventh mantra also last time. Yathornana visrajate gृह्णते cha यथा पृथिव्याम् ओषधयः सम्भवन्ति यथा सतः पुरुषात् केशलोमानि तथा अक्षरात् संभवति इह vishvam. The interesting part is the sixth mantra had, if you go back and see, such pointers where it was said Brahman did not come from anything and nothing comes from Brahman. Brahman alone is, we have said a number of times. But after all this said and done, much more is said than done, as somebody pointed out. This mantra says, look, this universe of living and non living entities comes from this Akshara or Brahma, just as the spider web comes from the spider, just as plants come from the earth, and just as hair comes out from a living human being. So, how do we put these two together? A while ago we said nothing comes from Brahman, and now a whole lot of things are coming from Brahman. Therefore, we are never tired of clarifying. We say that when a student is unable to see the highest truth, what does it mean? The student is so caught in this pluralistic universe. The student is so stuck in this idea of causation. The student is steeped in a vision of the entire universe or himself or herself where everything is something happening in space, XYZ, or in time, the axis T. When the student is thus so stuck in space, time, and causation, the teachers come down. They make a concession to the most precise position and say, all right, if you take this universe to have a certain reality, this cannot have an independent reality. This has come from Brahma, and we shall tell you how it has come. So, elaborate description of the universe and countless things that happen in the universe, including all kinds of theories of karma, why people suffer, why people enjoy, why bad things happen to good people and good things are seen to happen to bad people, why most unfortunate incidents also take place. In the few days that passed, we had the tennis star, I guess we pronounce the name Djokovic. He unintentionally hit the ball, and that hit the neck of a line judge. She fell down, writhing in pain, and though he had not at all done it intentionally, he was right away disqualified from the US Open tournament itself. Very nice gentleman he is. He expressed deep regrets, though he was so sad. He tweeted later, I feel so empty and all that. But look at that. He was probably going to win that Grand Slam title. He was perhaps going to be the winner of the much coveted trophy. But unfortunately, he was asked to just quit from this tournament. So, lots of things happen, and all of these are explained by various theories in spiritual philosophies. Why things happen in this way or that way. But let us put it once more very clearly, all this is called deliberate superimposition. There are two words, deliberate, intentional. The rishis know what they are doing, and yet they say, here is how things happen. And it is a superimposition. That means it is not the essential truth. The truth is above all this, but this superimposition serves a very important purpose. Swami Chinmayananda used to give the illustration of how, in order to paint a tall building of many stories. They put what is called scaffolding, and that scaffolding is put in place, and painters go on the scaffolding and reach all those heights, paint the surface, the facade of the building. Once the main job is done, the scaffolding is taken away. Likewise, very many theories of creation, very many laws that govern what happens within the creation, and all of them pretty impressive too. All of them many a time shake hands with modern science and whatnot. They're all mentioned, but the main idea is for our mind to turn inwards and let go of a basic error and a basic false identification. I am this person. I was good, nowadays not as good as I was. I was bad, nowadays I have improved a lot. And a thousand ideas you and I have about our identity, our worth. All this is to be dropped. We have to let go of them, and to facilitate that, all these theories are given. So we saw last time itself the three illustrations given in the seventh mantra, and now we must, without delaying, go to the next mantra. In fact, we saw the last sentence in Shankara's excellent commentary on this Mundaka Upanishad. He said, Aneka Drishtanta Upadanam, taking several illustrations, Aneka Drishtanta Upadanam, Sukha Avabodhana Artham. It is to facilitate easy grasp. If you don't get one illustration right, maybe the second one will convey the message to you very well. If you miss both the first and second, the third one might make sense. One of them, if it is doing its job, should be good enough. And also, Sri Shankaracharya had said these three illustrations have a certain variety among them. For Vilakshanam Salakshanancha Nimitta Antara Anapekshat Aksharat Sambhavati. What comes out could be of the same nature at the source, or it could be of a different nature. So you have spider and the waxy substance that is coming out. Now the waxy substance is inert, whereas in the second illustration the plants are coming out. They are sentient. Plants have life. So in that sense, that has something coming out from Brahman, which is also the very basis of all life. Brahma is the very basis of all life. So plants with life come out. So plants are salakshana, samana lakshana, and the first illustration, the waxy substance with which the spider spins its web, or the third illustration where hair come out from a man who is alive, what comes out, the product, is vilakshana. So, giving several combinations, the point is made essentially there is nothing in this universe which is independent of Brahman. Brahman itself comes out like this, Brahman itself appears like that. And then comes Sri Shankaracharya's introductory line, one or two, to the next mantra. The next mantra, which is number 8, and this khanda has only 9 mantras. We have arrived at the last two mantras of this Prathama Khanda of Prathama Mundaka. Adi Shankara says, those of you with the Bhāshya in hand, take a look at it. Yad Brahmanaha Utpadyamanam Vishwam tat anena kramena utpadyate. Everything that comes out comes in a certain sequence. Kramena, in a certain sequence, not just at once. Even in the Semitic religions, that is in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they have that theory of Genesis. God created everything in 6 days. What He created on the first day, what He created on the second day have all been defined. On the sixth day, last phase. And on the seventh day, God took some rest. So that is called the Sabbath, sabbatical, Sabbath. So 6 days of work and then one day of rest has gone into the Western culture very deeply, very strongly, which pretty much the whole world also has taken up with some modifications here and there. So, Kramena, in a certain sequence, no yugapat, not at one go. And for that yugapat, he gives an illustration. Badara mushti prakshepa vat na. You take maybe with in both your hands, making an anjali puta. You take a lot of badara fruits and at one go drop them on the floor. They scatter everywhere. That is a different matter. Let them go anywhere. But you dropped all of them at one go. Is it like that? That God or Brahman or Akshara created everything at one go? No. Says the mantra, na badara mushti prakshepavat iti kramaniyama vivakshartaha ayam mantraha arabhyate. Ayam mantraha. This eighth mantra, arabhyate, is begun, is started. Vivakshartaha, with the purpose of wanting to say. Vivaksha means intention to say. Vakti means says, and vivakshyati means wishes to say, is intending to say. All right, what does this mantra actually say? Before that, really speaking, as long as this whole creation is actually how Brahman appears, nothing has really happened to Brahman. In Advaita Vedanta, nothing at all happens to Brahman. Whether you believe it or not, first it may look so hard, it may look too far fetched, but as you study and understand the perspectives, then you will slowly appreciate, oh, now I not only understand, I admire this. This is superb. In fact, this is how it has to be. It couldn't be in any other way. You will arrive there. A proper study will bring you to not just an appreciation, but a certain conviction that it could not be any other way. So, in as much as the creation is an appearance, really there is no requirement that there should be a sequence. Whether it is a sequence or at one go, who cares? Finally, we need to see beyond. We need to look beyond this false appearance and we need to anchor ourselves in truth. However, this sequence that is given in different Upanishads in different ways has a certain plus point. One of the Tippanikaras says this helps Madhyama Adhikaris in their Laya Chintana. He uses a technical word, Laya Chintana. You know what is Laya? Dissolution. In fact, it is the opposite of Srishti. Srishti means creation, Laya means dissolution, going back. Swami Chinmayananji used to say, he used to travel all the time, right? He would say about himself, I have been living out of a suitcase last 40 years, he would say. Because pretty much his life was like that. And he would give the illustration. You go to a town, and 7 days Swamiji has lectures to give. And when he reaches that town, the host, somebody receives him and says, Swamiji, please come. This is your room. I hope all the things are all right. Please check. Let us know if you need anything. They do some upachara, some hospitality, some courteous remarks, and he says, oh, okay. Now everything is taken out of the bag and everything is put wherever some space is. You know, it's important. Unless you take out everything, preferably on the very first day of your 7 day trip, something can go amiss also. I have suffered sometimes. In my laziness, I would not open my bag fully, and so 7 days pass. I too here and there travel, right? Then I leave the town, I go. Then I realize that there was a letter lying in this particular bag, which I was supposed to hand over to somebody in this town. But because I did not open everything, it just remained at the bottom of all other things. And Puja Swami Chinmayananji was not like that. He was very well organized. Oops, about him, so much can be said. He was a super achiever. In fact, many of you know that there was this famous book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey, a certain management guru. And it was said, and I agree with that Swami Chinmayananda was somebody who lived, in fact, in whom we can see the example of those seven habits of highly effective people lived to the finest detail. All right. So take everything out from the bag, put them all at places, right places, and the 7 days are over. Maybe some new gifts come, some things are coming. Somebody presents a book to Swamiji, whatever. All of us, when we travel, this happens. On the last day, put everything into the bag, zip it up, and go travel. Catch the next train in good old days, later on flights and so on. So, Laya Chintana, I am explaining to you what is Laya Chintana. Shrishti is like from Brahma, everything is taken out and things are made to occupy places. And Laya is everything is put back into the bag of Brahman, so to say. So the Tippanakara says that a certain form of meditation, as given at many places, such as in Kathopanishad, Yached Vang Manasi Prajnaha Tadyached Jnana Atmani Jnanam Atmani Mahati Niyached Tadyached Shanta Atmani. There is a mantra which is guidance in meditation. Think of this entire universe and look at them as supported by your own mind. After all, they are all in your thoughts. If your mind were to be quiet, where is the world? Think like that. Then think your mind also is supported by a certain deeper intelligence in you. Call it buddhi. And that also is supported, held in place by pure consciousness. And then stay as pure consciousness. From the cause, when you go towards various effects, that is the srishti. From the effects, you trace back the steps, how they came. And tracing the steps back, you come back to the source, to the cause, that is called laya. So, laya chintane madhyama adhikarinam etena srishti vicharena sahayam bhavati. Help, sahayam, madhyama adhikaris. Uttama adhikaris don't need this. They see through the game and they just stay as Sakshi. They are the witness. So, this Krama, my whole point was, the Krama is strictly speaking not required. Krama or no Krama. In a sequence or just in a jiffy, everything comes. How does it matter? But Krama has this benefit that it will help Madhyamadhikaris, middle level seekers in certain contemplation. All right, the introduction was given, and then there is the mantra. Tapasa chiyate brahma tatonnamabhijayate annat prano manas satyam lokaha karmasu chamritam. This is the mantra. As we said a few times, all the Sanskrit compositions in the Vedas, of which Upanishads are a part, are called mantras. If it is Bhagavad Gita, they are called shlokas. So, eighth mantra has once more a little poetry, a little imagination, a little creative writing or speaking when it says Tapasa chiyate Brahma. The supreme Brahma, which is and which always is actually, it never really changes, but in a manner of saying, this one without a second, chiyate means it swells, it gets larger. And how does it get larger? Tapasa. Elsewhere, when already there is plurality, something gets larger, maybe because visibly or invisibly some other elements get into it. You have a little pumpkin growing in your backyard on a creeper, and every morning over your morning tea, you take a look at the pumpkin. Ah, see, you tell your husband, look, it has become bigger now, another day bigger. And science says it cannot just get bigger from nowhere. So the air and some nutrition from the roots of that creeper and what else? Water. So there are things getting in. Therefore, it gets bigger and heavier. Finally, it's a huge pumpkin. Maybe the pumpkin in your backyard breaks all records in your town. So, with respect to Brahman, when Brahman is getting enlarged, it swells, there is nothing else than Brahman. Therefore, it is in fitness of things to say, Tapasa chiyate Brahma. Tapas means, again, tapas is not a gross kind of tapas that later on the tapasvis, individuals could do. At this point, it is nothing but the intelligence in operation. Intelligence in operation is the highest form of tapas. Our limbs doing something, or our not eating, not speaking, they are all called tapas. Maunam is one form of tapas. Upavasa is another form of tapas later on. But at this point, Brahman doesn't do upavasa, fasting, or mauna, silent, keeping silent. Brahman exercises the intelligence contained in it, and then that Brahma swells. Why is it poetic? We'll now see Shankara's commentary. Swelling or something getting enlarged is in the sense similar to how a young man, you know, marries. To be a husband of a young woman itself is a change about which he is, excited and can't believe. And then he becomes a father. The man or the lady becomes a mother. Right? So to become a parent, Shankara gives that illustration in his commentary. How the father swells in joy. The father's face swells, his entirety as though swells. He is so happy. So it's a happy scenario. And from that Brahma which swelled, it is said, Annam Abhijayate. Okay, all this poetry, this creative, this figurative expression is fine. What is literally and technically meant by Brahman swelling? That is where Tippanakars, that is commentators, those who will write little helpful notes, say Brahma by itself is not suitable to appear in names and forms. Swelling means it comes to a certain stage where names and forms can then be thought of. After all, any creation has some requirements, one stage before, one stage before that, and so on. For there is an order, and therefore the Brahman, which is absolutely nameless, formless, etc., chiyate swells, and then annam abhijayate. Annam, we said a sentence about it in the last class also, by proper reference to other Vedic portions and by grammatical justification, by what we call etymology. Etymology means how a word is formed. Anna, food, has a background. What is eaten is annam. Adyate iti annam. Ad means to eat. That is the verbal root. So based on all that, that is occurrences elsewhere in the Vedas and grammar and the Vyutpatti, etc. Shankaracharya says Anna here is Avyakrita. Before vikaras come. Vikara means modifications. The simplest example is take some clay, and when that clay is made into a pot, another day the artist or the potter takes some clay and makes it into a plate. So a pot and a plate and a doll and something else, they are all vikaras. So when something gets into various vikaras, then adjectival form is vyakrita. V plus a plus krita. In vikara, V plus kr. V is the upasarga, kr is the dhatu. But in vyakrita or avyakrita, there is V, then there is yet another preposition a, and then kr. Vyakaravani, and so on. For that matter, grammar itself is called in Sanskrit Vyakarana. V plus A plus Karana. Because what is grammar after all? Grammar is how words or constituents of words and then sentences and then several sentences coming one after another, all of them, how they finally give a certain meaning, and when they come together what happens to them, etc., is all grammar. So you have semantics, then you have syntax, and so on in every language. Grammar. So Vyakarana. But here Avyakrita is, to use a simple English word, it's the unmanifest and undifferentiated stage of creation. That is Annam. Annat Pranaha. From that unmanifest comes Prana, and by context, Prana is not breath, which is much later. That meaning would very much apply much later, Prana, Apana, Vyana, etc. But at this stage, it is the collective or total subtle body called Hiranyagarbha. So, subtle, sukshma, not yet visible for Indriyas. And from that comes Manaha. From, you see, Hiranyagarbha, technically, this is where Vedanta joins hands to an extent with the Sankhya Darshana. In Sankhya Darshana of Kapila Muni also, they talk about 24 factors which are involved in this entire creation. So there also they begin with unmanifest, then manifest, and then manaha, then ahankara, mahatattva, etc. So prana is total subtle body. Manaha is a specific expression of it. Again total, not individual yet. And then comes a word which we would not imagine has the meaning given here, Satyam. For us, Satyam was truth. Satyam is something that is verified, verifiable. Satyam is veracity. But here, Satyam is Bhuta Panchakam. I'm explaining now itself, then we can go faster with the Bhāshya, because what I'm saying is in line with the Bhāshya of Sri Shankaracharya. But you may say, how can we call Bhuta Panchakam, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, and Prithvi, space, air, fire, water, and earth, Satyam? For the simple reason that it is when these five elements come into being that they mix between them and things are produced which are visible. Normally, what do we call as Satya? Something that we see. Somebody asks you, they say a dog was moving around here. Did you see? You say, true, true. I saw the dog. In fact, in the neighborhood where I am in Himachal Pradesh, all of us are a bit concerned for the last 1 or 2 months. A big monkey has been roaming about. Sometimes when I do a little Surya Namaskara on the terrace of this building, a big monkey with a little red, some part of the body is red, comes on the terrace. I am a little concerned that time. Because if he attacks me or takes away my glasses or house keys which I put below. So this morning when I did yoga, today the bandar did not come monkey, but I kept the house keys because I lock my house, go to the terrace and do just half an hour of yogasana and come back. I don't want the monkey to take away the keys because the keys may be shining and just jumps and takes away. How do I then re-enter my house? So if somebody were to ask me, is it true that in the part of Solan where you live, there is a big monkey which does its rounds, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, and so on? I would first say Satyam. True. Sometimes it comes to my balcony also, but I keep my know, door and window which have a net closed. I don't want it to enter inside. So, what is Satyam? Broadly speaking, something that you see or hear or touch or smell, and you say yes, yes, yes. And all that is possible through Bhuta Panchakam. Therefore, the five elements have been in advance called Satyam. They bring about things which get the stamp of reality by people who see, hear, touch, etc. And from Satya come all the lokas. Bhuha, Bhuaha, Suaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam, seven lokas. And then there are seven more nether worlds also, but primarily Sapta Lokaha. Now the importance of lokas is that is how you and I, living beings, work out our karma. Various lokas are where we can do our karma, enjoy or suffer the fruits, then again do karma. Because what is life after all? Karma, karma, and karma. From the time we are born till the time we die, we are all the time doing good karma or bad karma, knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally. In order to do that karma, we need a field, we need a locale, we need a stage. That is loka. Lokaha. Next one, therefore, is karma itself. And the last word again is subject to a little involved interpretation. Karma sucha amritam. So there are seven factors coming from Brahma. Brahma on top, there is Anna, there is Prana, there is Manaha, three. Satyam, Lokaha and Karma, three more. And seventh one is Amritam. Amritam is again a strange word. It is nothing but karma, phala. Amrita should not take our mind to nectar, but there's a connection. What is nectar? Nectar is something that makes us immortal, that makes us live forever. And here, that being forever is the quality of karma phala too. Because karma and karma phala, they don't come to an end easily. Whatever you do, somebody dies at a young age, somebody lives and dies at the age of 100. I believe there is one Swami Shivananda now in Varanasi. Videos are doing the rounds, magazines are writing articles about him. 126-year-old. Otherwise, Guinness Book of World Records and other books have talked of some Japanese gentleman 116 or something. But this guy in Varanasi, living on the banks of Ganga, is 126. The only problem is Guinness Book of World Records did not enter him in their records because his birth records, documents, proof that he was born 126 years ago, etc., is not so verifiable. But otherwise, everybody believes he is 126. Now he has come to light. A lot of talk going on about him. But my point is, whether you live short life or long life, whether somebody kills a man or that man commits suicide, Sushant Singh Rajput, it is believed he committed suicide, but even now there are some rumors that he was done to death. We don't know. No matter how our life begins and ends, karma does not leave us, and karma phala also does not leave us. Therefore, it is Amrita. With these explanations, we go quickly over the Prasanna Gambhira Vyakhyana called Bhāshya of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. Tapasa, the first word he takes. Jnanena. Tapas is jnana. Rather than just moving ahead with one word, he says Utpatti Vidijnataya. Utpatti, production. Utpatti Vidhi, the exact way to produce things. Utpatti Vidijna, that is someone who knows how to produce something. Everywhere, whether it is some complex industrial production, scientific production, or simple preparing some dish, preparing some recipe, preparing some food, only those who know the vidhi can do it. Otherwise, things will get messed up. So, Brahma has the intelligence, utpatti vidhi jnana. Because of being utpatti vidijna, utpatti vidijnata, its third case is utpatti vidijnataya jnanena. This akshara, this Brahma, this bhuta yoni, chiyate, upachiyate, it as though collects something from itself. There's nothing else for it to draw from. From itself, it gathers energy and swells. Why does it swell? Utpipada ishat. Again, a desiderative. See, utpadana, many of you know. For utpadana is a word in many Indian languages, anyhow. Utpadana is production. But utpipada ishana is wanting to produce, intending to produce. Utpadanam chikirshu. Because Brahma is neuter, we don't say chikirshuhu or we don't say utpipada ishan. Utpipada ishan would be masculine form. Some of you uh, like some grammar as you have expressed, you are enjoying. So here and there, I will sprinkle a little grammar. So Utpipadayishat, why is that? That is the neuter form. If instead of Brahma, if it were Vishnuhu or Narayana or Shivaha, the word would have been Utpipadayishan, that is masculine form. And if it were Saraswati or Lakshmi or Durga, it would have been Utpipadayishanti, that is the feminine form. Brahma idam aksharam tattvam utpipadayishat idam jagat, intending to produce this whole universe. Ankuram iva bijam. Shankara supplies a beautiful, simple illustration. The right order would be bijam ankuram utpipadayishat iva. Just as a seed, as though intending to produce a sprout. From a seed comes a sprout. From the bija comes the ankura. Yatha bijam ankuram utpipadayishati tata aksharam brahma idam jagat utpipadayishati uchchunatam gacchati. Swells, gets enlarged. And then comes the illustration. Yatha pita putram harshena. Upon getting the news that he got a child now, waiting outside in the corridor of the hospital. His wife, the mother going to be, is inside, and the man is pacing the corridor. Then, you know, some of us have been there in that kind of scenario. Some others, like me, have seen more of it in movies, in Hindi movies. And then the nurse comes out and yes, oh. And also you hear in movies, Bollywood movies, they dramatize it a lot. The crying of the baby also is loudly played out. And the man cannot believe. Does it mean I am a father now? My God, from where have I come now? Where was I? His mind goes back to his being a little boy, high school, primary school, etc., etc. See, all of us take some time to. Everywhere it is like that. If one of you takes sannyas tomorrow, you will have a very strange experience about that also. The day you take sannyas, that day also you are, perplexed. Next morning when you get up, suddenly you see your clothes are orange robes. Oh, how come I am having orange robes? Oh yeah, yesterday I became a Swami. My guru made me a sannyasi. And you get strange. All change has its own emotional content. So without trying more, which I'm not capable of also, Pita Putram Labdva Yata Harshena Uchchunatam Gacchati. Alright, so Brahma swells as though getting prepared to produce this whole universe. Evam Sarvajnataya Srashti Sthiti Samhara Shakti Vijnana Vattaya Upachitat. From this akshara, which is fully endowed with vijnana, with complete knowledge of how to create, how to maintain it for a while, and how to destroy it. Srishti sthiti samhara vijnana vatta, having it all, annam, that is avyakritam. Tato brahmanaha, tataha is tasmat. Tasmat brahmanaha, annam abhijayate. What is annam? Adyate, bhujyate, passive voice. That which is eaten is annam. Some of you have studied Taittiriya Upanishad, Shikshavalli. The Upanishad itself says something very shocking. It says, Adyate Atticha. This food we eat is eaten by us and it is capable of eating us up. Of course, one is suppose we don't eat right food, instead of nourishing us, it can cause some disorder. There are some people who eat all kinds of unhealthy food. In their case, in a short while, rather than their eating that food, food eats them up. That food finishes them. In others cases also, after all, eventually our own body becomes food for other creatures. So, adyate atticha. So here adyate is taken. Adyate bhujyate avyakritam sadharanam sansarinam vyachikirshita avastharupena abhijayate utpadyate. So from Brahma, Anna comes, and Shankara again uses one more desiderative. I have been using this word. I'm sure many of you have come to enjoy it. Some may have a little difficulty. You see, Vyachikirshita. Vyakrita is the basic word. Vyachikirshita is the desiderative. That which has been uh, already made into various distinguishable forms is Vyakrita, Vikara Jata. But Vyachikirshita is that which has not yet gone into distinguishable names and forms, but which is meant for that, which is intended to reach there. Vyachikirshita. I had given an example in an earlier class. Pana is drinking, but pipasa is wanting to drink, thirst. Jnana is knowledge, jijnasa is wanting to know. Likewise, vyakarana or vikarikarana is how things get spread out, but this is vyachikirshita, abhijayate. Tatascha avyakritat व्याचिकीर्षित अवस्थातः प्राणः जायते. Hiranyagarbha comes. And this Hiranyagarbha, relative to that unmanifest, already has little more details which are worth mentioning. More than anything else, as the Shankara Bhāshya goes, two things. Jnana Kriya Shakti Adhishtitaha. That is, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. Finally, you and I come in the picture, and every one of us, can anybody deny, has the ability to know, Jnana Shakti, and ability to do. All of us know and then we do. If we come to know that something is available, oh, let's go grab it. We drive off and go and collect it. Even little children, those days when Harry Potter's books were coming out, second volume, third volume, etc. Children are waiting. And on the day Harry Potter volume 5 is available in bookstores, children, the parents have to take them. They go and grab the book. So to know that tomorrow morning the new Harry Potter series by that lady, will be coming out. That is Jnana. And to go and collect it is Kriya. So in various ways, life is marked by ability to know Jnana Shakti and ability to do Kriya Shakti. And these are there in Hiranyagarbha. Jnana Kriya Shakti Adhishtitaha Jagat Sadharanaha Avidya Kama Karma Bhuta Samudaya Bijankuraha. And this is the seed and its expression of avidya, kama, and karma. Basic ignorance, basic erroneous perception. In that erroneous perception, then there is desire because we feel incomplete in error. The truth is we are complete, but in error we feel I am not okay. Then kama, desire, then karma. This hiranyagarbha abhijayate iti anushangaha. That's how we have to connect it. Tasmat hiranyagarbhat pranat manaha. Mind is defined in a simple way. Sankalpa, to conceive something. Vikalpa, to conceive various options. Samshaya, to think of various doubts. Is it really so or is it something else? And then nirnaya, then to decide, no, it is this way only, about any matter. That is manaha. And at this moment it is total, not any individual's mind. Tatopi sankalpadhyatmakat manasah satyam. We have already explained. Satyakhyam akasha adi bhuta panchakam. Pancha means five. Panchakam is a set of five. Like even stotras we have. Manisha Panchakam. Five stanzas pointing to the highest understanding. Linga Ashtakam. Eight, Ashta is eight, Ashtakam. A set of eight verses in praise of Shivalinga. Tat pranamami sada Shivalingam. That's how each shloka ends, as all of us know. So, we have Bhuta Panchakam. Tasmat Satyakhyat Bhuta Panchakat Sapta Lokaha. The mantra says Lokaha. Bhāshyakara adds Sapta Lokaha. Bhuradaya, Bhuhu, and so on. And then one more expression he adds is Andakramena. Because tying together various other scriptures, Vedic portions, Puranas, etc., it is learnt that there is something called Brahmanda. Anda literally means an egg. From that huge egg, there arise the seven lokas. Teshu manushyaadi prani varnashrama kramena karmani. Then we human beings too come out there. The focus shifts to human beings, though all other living beings have come out at this point now. And when you talk of karma, but why suddenly Bhashyakara refers to Manushya? Animal activists may get angry with Acharya Shankara. Oh, why is this focus on humanity? We must care for animals. You are mixing the contexts. With due respect and all love for all animals, etc., the context here is a spiritual context. Karma. Right and wrong apply to us human beings. Animals, 95% go by their instincts. A little bit, yes, they do have choice. We talk of loyal animals. A dog is loyal, or some, I guess some animals are little clever or crooked too. I don't know whether it's real story or real, fox and so on. But otherwise, it is human beings who have tremendous option, karma. Therefore, there also we human beings are not alike. Some have more sattva, some have more rajas, some have more tamas combinations. Therefore, you know that Chaturvarnya comes into the picture. Varna ashrama kramena. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudraha iti chatvaraha varnaha. Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasaha iti chatvaraha ashramaha, stages of life. Shankara tries to give to us a very, very picturesque, very comprehensive, view of this creation where we are part of. And when we do karma, they become nimitta, karma sucha nimitta bhuteshu, amrutam. Instantly he gives the meaning. Here amrita is not some nectar which will stop you from, which will prevent death, in your case, but it is karmajam phalam. And we say, how can it mean karma phala? He explains. Yavat karmani kalpa koti shatairapi na vinashyanti. As long as karmas don't stop, and they don't stop, life to life, life to life, life to life. Oh, it's all, Therefore, we Hindus especially, when something goes wrong, we take the hand to our head. It's all my karma. I can't blame anybody. I don't blame anyone. It's all my own karma. We take the hand to our heads, generally, right? So, karmas don't stop. Kalpa koti. Kalpa itself is a huge, very long period of time. And crores or millions of such long periods of time. Kalpa koti shatairapi yavat karmani na vinashyanti. Tavat, till then, phalam cha na vinashyati. Phalam cha na vinashyati. Phala doesn't stop. Therefore, it is amritam. Therefore, in this way, a very thought-provoking and a little entertaining too, I guess, sequence of creation. As I counted and told you, Brahma and then 7 items. ब्रह्मणः अन्नम् अन्नात् प्राणः प्राणात् मनः मनसः सत्यं सत्यात् लोकाः लोकेषु कर्माणि कर्मसु amritam, that is karma phalam. So 1 plus 7, Brahma is 1, then there are 7 factors. Factors are many more, and some other place it can be condensed into just 3 or 4. But this is a manner of teaching. In this section, it has been expressed as Brahman plus 7 in a sequence. Next class, we shall complete this khanda where the Rishi, in order that we do not forget that Avyaya Tattva, brings us back to the pure Brahma, Sarvajna, Sarvavit. For in the glitter and glamour of this created universe, we should not forget the source of it all. Om Namaha Paramarashibhyaha Namah Paramarashibhyaha. So last time I had missed one question, then I replied to that gentleman whom I knew by email. This time let me see. Okay, Swami Tanmayananda Saraswati, Namaste, Namaste. Yes, yes. Hari Om, Pranam. I hope Nalamwars solved that problem, not hearing. I am not hearing any sound, said Ashok Nalamwar. I hope it is solved very quickly. Oh yeah, you have written. Thanks, I found the problem and I hope it means you solved the problem. Okay. Old and new names here. Happy to get new people to join this program. Looks like there is no question so far. Never too late. You may even now ask. Don't ask me what we are going to do about the monkey in my neighborhood. But ask something about Mundaka Upanishad. It's quite a huge monkey. It's scary. Okay. Okay, Asha Gandhi. The sequence explains creation. Does it validate creation? The sequence explains creation in a certain way and validates creation to an extent. That is for Madhyamadhikaris. That is, as long as you and I don't have that high degree of Viveka and Vairagya, the explanation and description given by the scriptures of what this creation is all about, what our role is, what is good, what is bad, what leads us towards mukti, what can tie us down more, Shreya and Preya, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, a number of such constructs, number of such kalpanas, concepts, a number of such, very helpful ideas. Uh, in a way, they validate, yes, but there is no ultimate validation. There is no stamp of approval on this sequence or this whole theory of creation. There is no ultimate stamp of approval that this is the Parama Satyam. No, no, no. This is the Satyam as far as we are concerned. So, Corona is Satyam, and all the care that we have to take is Satyam. We cannot say, I don't believe in Corona and We don't wear mask and we go very near lots of people and don't wash hands with soap, etc. We are in trouble. So this validation is is made. The Upanishad validates creation. Therefore, you will see in the mantras that will come also, lot of moral advice is given to us. Satyena labhyaha tapasa hyesha atma samyak jnanena brahmacharyena nityam. So he values emphasis on study, emphasis on upasana. These are all within creation, you see. If someone were to see beyond creation, there is no sadhana required. So I would use that one expression. The validation is given by the Upanishad, but not forever. It, at a very lofty level, the creation gets invalidated. Okay, Ravi Prakash. What's the difference between Upanishad and Garuda Purana? Why is Garuda Purana considered inauspicious, whereas Upanishads sacred? First of all, I don't know Garuda Purana much. I have here and there heard a little, and I have sat where someone was narrating some Garuda Purana, translating and so on, some rough idea. Garuda Purana is considered not exactly inauspicious, it is also auspicious, but you know, it is to be recited when there is some death. Therefore, the occasion, suppose, for that sake, um, some party, birthday party, and so on, let's say, and somebody comes in white clothes. White clothes is not inauspicious. But this young lady, 24-year-old, always we see her in colorful clothes. Suddenly, in all white clothes, if she comes, will we not say, "What happened? Has somebody died? Why are you wearing these white clothes?" So, just like that, white clothes are not inauspicious, but if she comes in white clothes, she otherwise wears all kinds of clothes, but suddenly for my daughter's birthday, this girl is coming in white clothes. It becomes inauspicious. So Garuda Purana has a association with death. When people die in the next 10 days following the death of a person, Garuda Purana is recited because there the journey of a soul going to various lokas, crossing the Vaitarani Nadi, then reaching Naraka, reaching Swarga, and rebirth. So many things are mentioned. Since it has an association with the death and post death rituals, it is sort of looked at as inauspicious. By itself, it's not inauspicious. Upanishads are sacred because they are the science of liberation. But lastly, Upanishads also are not auspicious. If there are some mantras talking about Vairagya, suppose I go to a wedding to bless the couple, and there if I say Sannyasa eva atyarechayat or something, that would be inauspicious there because that is, it doesn't fit into the occasion. So Upanishads could be inauspicious in a happy worldly scenario like wedding, and Garuda Purana, which is otherwise auspicious, would be inauspicious if you recite it at some other place where there no one has died and so on. So contextual. So you have to see the context. Savitaji says everyone is in Manan. That's why people are not asking questions. Okay. You are explaining why there is not much question. They are in deep Manan. That is very good. That's about it, I think. Yeah. So, all right. Okay, with this we conclude. Shiva Shankara Raja says, how to judge our level of seeking when there are three levels of seeking, higher, middle, and lower? Trial and error. Try the highest, and if it doesn't interest you or if it confuses you, try the middle. And the middle also somehow you don't find enthusiasm, then go to the lower level, which is not in a negative sense. Lower level means karma. Help people, serve people, be a volunteer. First of all, at home, take care of your parents, elders, brothers, sisters, wife, children. Work for others. That is lower level. Middle level is upasanas. Higher level is tattva chintan. So all are noble. Okay, lower level, don't mistake lower level has something negative. Nothing negative. Lower, middle, madhyama adhikari, uttama adhikari. Manda adhikari is lower. Manda, don't take it as negative. It only is a stage of life. All of us go through. Sometimes in a single day, there are a couple of hours when we are manda adhikaris. All we want is some story, some entertainment. So trial and error. Try out the higher. If it doesn't work out, go a little down. So go up to that level where you feel, now this is where I belong. That's where. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.